Today just might be my lucky day. Well, actually, you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself because my luck started a few days ago when a friend of mine sent me a link to a piece of equipment for sale that's fairly close to me that I've been searching for a while. This particular piece of equipment is very rare here in Northern California, and to be honest with you guys, I really never thought that I would find one locally. If I wanted to make a 10+ hour drive up to Idaho, Montana, even Washington or Oregon, I could find these things all day long, but here in Northern California, finding this piece of equipment, it's like finding a unicorn. But lo and behold, there's one for sale less than an hour away from me, and today we're gonna go look at it. That's what's going on today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. But before we can get to the fun part, of course, first the chores need to be taken care of. So let's get these cows fed, then we'll jump in the truck and hit the road. All right, well, that job's done for another day. How many of you guys think that I'm crazy for feeding these small squares the way I do? I know it's a lot more labor than other ways of doing things, but well, this is just kind of what we've got. So anyway, I've still got the calves down the road here to feed, but I'm getting a little bit late because I told that guy that I would leave here before 9, and it's getting close to 9. So I think what we'll do is jump in the truck, run up there, look at this piece of equipment, come back here to feed the calves because I'm sure I'm going to want to talk about it. So that'll be a good time to do that. All right, let's go. Hey, this is Tyler. Just letting you know that I'm leaving the ranch, heading your way right now, so probably about 30 minutes or so. All right, see you then. Bye. Now, some of you that have been with the channel for a while might have a pretty good idea of what we're going to look at right now. Others of you that are fairly new and haven't been with me too long here might have no idea. So I'm not going to hold back any longer. I'm going to tell you, we're going to look at a round baler. I know to a lot of you, a round baler is a super common, really no big deal kind of piece of equipment, but here where I'm located in Northern California, round balers are unicorns. They just don't exist. And I've heard a few different theories as to why this is, and I think it mostly goes back to being able to ship the bales. And I don't know how far back this goes, if we're talking about like gold rush times when they needed to ship hay out here to the gold miners. I'm not really sure. Somebody mentioned that theory to me once before, and it sounds pretty reasonable. The other fact is that there are a lot of dairies here, and that is the primary market, I think, for hay, or at least what drives the price. If we're growing hay up here in Northern California and it's got to ship all the way down to Tulare, it kind of makes sense that they want to use square bales. I mean, usually you think of dairies using big squares, but I guess a lot of them use small squares too. My primary market is horse customers, And I guess a lot of them just don't have a tractor or a way to handle larger bales, so they like the small squares. But I've been asking around to a bunch of my friends that grow hay and just trying to get a feel for the market, if they thought they could sell round bales, because that was one of my biggest concerns, is that if I bought a round baler, that I'd have a difficult time getting rid of the bales, because I probably only need to keep about half of my crop to feed my own cows, and the rest of it needs to be sold. So after asking around, a lot of the guys told me that they did have people that would use round bales, or that have asked about round bales. So I think there is a market here for them. It's probably not huge, and I mean, maybe it will grow in time if I start making them and advertising them. There might be people out there that want them that don't even realize they want them. Probably the biggest positive to me is that I won't need to rely on harrow beds to pick up and stack my hay. I won't need to rely on a retriever truck to move my hay. I won't need to rely on someone bringing a squeeze over to put my hay in the barn. If I have round bales, I can do all that stuff myself. So there are definitely a lot of positives and a lot of reasons why I feel like I should move forward with this. But there are also, you know, drawbacks. A lot, like everything, there's a balance, there's a give and take. Some of the drawbacks are actually pretty severe for me. So one big one being that my facility is not set up to feed round bales. That's kind of why I showed you guys feeding the cows before we left. I know y'all have seen that before, but I just sort of wanted to reiterate and show you how I do it, so that you can see when I'm throwing hay into these little mangers, there's no way to adapt a round bale to that setup. I'm gonna have to make some changes. That's gonna cost money. That's gonna be time. In the long run, maybe it's worth it. I think it is worth it, but it is still a hurdle that's gonna have to be overcome. So I think all the facility issues are problems that I can solve. Like I say, it's just gonna take time and money and just looking at other people's setups to figure out how I wanna do it. The other big hurdle that I need to figure out how to get over is the financial aspect. I can justify this purchase because I think it'll pay for itself in about 5 or 6 years if I'm figuring it out all right, and if I don't have any major repairs that I have to make on the machine. A return on your investment after 5 years is actually pretty good. But the issue is really just coming up with the money today, this week, whenever I would need to do it. As you guys know, we just got done with Christmas and the holiday season. That's always an expensive time of year. It's one of those things where, you know, is it ever a good time to spend a bunch of money? Probably not. But it just feels like there could be a better time than now. But the thing of it is that this baler is available now. So I don't know if there's a lot of interest out here, if there's other people looking at it. I have no idea. I mean, I can ask the guy. I don't know if he'll tell me the truth, but the fact is the opportunity is now. You don't get to choose when these things happen. For all I know, this guy could watch the channel, and if he does, then I'm gonna really lose all of my bargaining power right now, because this baler is perfect. It's exactly what I've been looking for. It's the baler I never thought I would find in Oregon or Washington. I never thought I'd find it, period. And yet here it is, 30 minutes away from my house. It almost feels like it's meant to be, if you believe in that sort of thing. We must be getting close because we've got Christmas decorated round bales. Must be going the right way. Man, it is so pretty out here. Anytime I go somewhere like this, it makes me wish that I didn't live on just flat ground, but I guess the flat ground has its advantages too. But man, these hillsides, I just love this country. Well, what did you guys think? I thought that was really a clean baler. I could tell it had been well taken care of. The guy knew his stuff. We actually sat and talked for quite a while, and it turns out he knew my grandpa way back when. I guess my grandpa used to pick up hay for him back in the day, so that's been a while ago. Otherwise, I thought that was a really clean machine, and if I can get the money together, I think I'm gonna pull the trigger. However, I still have some questions about how I'm gonna retrofit my facilities here to accept round bales. I think with this little manger where I feed the calves, it's actually gonna be pretty easy, and I wanna show you guys what my idea is. I guess what I'm mostly kind of worried about is that in order to let all animals get access to feed, I'm gonna have to put so many round bales out that they're probably gonna have to work on them for a couple days at a time before I can put new ones out. So the reason why that's kind of an issue is because if I set, let's say, 4 round bales out here, and it takes them a week to finish all that. In that week, we could get rain that would potentially ruin that hay or get it to start molding. So I'd really like to get a feed set up where I can put the bales under cover, so even if it rains, they're not getting wet. So as you can see, I already have a roof here, and my idea for this manger at least is to just take the fence line bunk feeder portion of this manger and move it in a little bit. So right now, right here is where they are sticking their heads through to eat the hay on the other side. If I just move that in a little bit, I mean, it wouldn't even have to be that much, maybe a foot or 2. Then I could just bring the round bales down here, park them on this side of the feeder. They could reach their heads through and eat off of that, and everything would be undercover, both calves and hay. And that's what we want. Once the bales were down on the ground, I could make a 3-point spear to put on my New Holland, and I could actually just kind of shuttle these bales right in here and set them down with a 3-point and pull away. I could put, shoot, probably 1, 2, 3, 4. I could put 5 round bales in here pretty easily, and most everybody would have access all at once, which really they don't even need, because there would be so much feed there that if they were getting pushed out in the morning, well, by the time all those other calves are full, then the calves that got pushed out could come back and eat in the evening. And once they got sort of on a rotation like that, I don't think anybody would be going hungry. And the other good part about doing things this way is that this manger is in desperate need of repair anyway, and I was probably gonna rebuild it this summer, whether I get a round baler or not. So I think that is the perfect time to scoot that in a little bit and just make it how I want it. The real question is, how am I going to retrofit this corral and feed bunk for round bales? Because I cannot do the same thing here that I'm thinking of doing over at the little manger. If I just try to move the feeder area in, there's still no way for me to get a tractor in here when the barn is full to load this up with hay. I could put bale rings sort of out in the middle of the corral, which I'm really not crazy about, because then we're right back to that same problem of the bales getting rained on and moldy before the cows can finish them. To tell you the truth, I would really like to think of a way that I could set multiple bales out, because then that would mean that I wouldn't have to come here and feed every single day. It'd be nice to only have to throw them hay maybe once every 2 or 3 days. A slightly more extreme solution to this problem would be to clean everything out of this side of the barn and then put a fence line bunk feeder on these posts here. Might have to extend the roof down a little bit, but then I could just pull the bales around and set them right here, and the cows could reach their heads through on this side and get the hay that way. I don't really like that though, because I mean, I use this area for storage, like for tractors and stuff, and honestly, I would probably use it to put round bales in if I had a round baler. So I'm not sure that that's what I want to do. The answer's here. I just got to figure it out. I'm curious to know how you guys handle this issue, and you know, let's think of this. Let's do this 2 ways. If you have a good answer for me or a good idea, you can leave it in the comments, or I think one day this week we'll do a live stream and you can tell me about it then. I haven't decided which day I'm going to do the live, but when I get that figured out, I'll put out a community post, so be watching for that. Well, now I'm going to go call the bank and see if there's even anything that I can do to make this happen, because if I can't get the money, then I'm getting all excited over nothing. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.